All right, what's good, everybody? So, I already know that with this topic, I'm probably gonna stir up a hornet's nest, and some folks is probably gonna have some not so kind words to leave in the comment section. However, I'm not concerned with that because this video is not for everybody. This video is actually for cats like hey, that's on an extreme budget. They want to get their hands on a standalone MPC unit, and they're probably eyeballing this, the MPC One Plus. I'm gonna tell you right now, knowing what I know now and experience what I've experienced with my MPC Live, the Mark One. I'm gonna tell you, I just would not go with the MPC One Plus. Not brand new out the box, right? Now if you want to go and get one used, because you're that strapped for cash, that's a different story. But if you can afford like 600, 700, if you can get in that price range right there, and there's ways of doing that, what I would do is I would just go ahead and look at the MPC Live. And the reason being is because you're actually going to get more for your money with the MPC Live, a good used one, and you can get a good used one out there. So, but first of all, let's talk about the specs, right? So, I'm on the Akai website, right? So this is the specs for the MPC One. Pad, 16 pads, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. Display, yeah. Let me go over here to the MPC Live Mark One. Look at the specs here. Pad 16, right? Display 6.9, okay, 176 millimeters on the diagonal versus 177. You're not really going to see that. If you can, like feel 1 millimeter, what I'm saying, then you're good. But, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not losing anything on the real estate. But as far as memory, look at this, right? You got your 2 gigs of internal memory, right? You got your ARM processor multi-core. It's the same damn processor, right? Okay, so, the memory, 2 gigs. As far as the memory and the processor, you're getting pretty much the same thing, all right? But the area where the MPC Live is going to come through for you is, well, the areas. There's 2 main areas that I see. Number one is going to be the connections, right? Because on the MPC One, if you look at your connections, you got your TRS, you got your one input, right? Okay. And then you got your stereo out, obviously your headphone jack. That's what you got. That's what you got. Okay. Okay. You got a CV gate. What is this? You got your CV gate jacks. If you're into using, that synth gear and everything, then that's useful to you. But if you're on a budget, you probably don't have a bunch of, synth equipment that uses CV gates. Let's look at the ports, right? USB ports. You got one, Type A and one Type B, right? You got your SD card slot. That's what you got. You go to the MPC Live Mark One. You got obviously you got your 2 input stereo pair, right? But you're also going to get, let's see, where is it at? The RCA. You also got an RCA input as well. Like if you want to be able to record off of wax, off of LP. Outputs. You're going to have a total of 6 TRS outputs. 2 of them is your masters. Then you're going to have, I'm sorry, 2 mono, which is going to be, your stereo pair. That's going to be your master out. And then you're going to have, 2 more pairs, to be able to route out as well. So obviously it's got the SD card slot, just like the one, and it's going to have an additional, USB port Type B. I'm sorry, Type A. Now, so those are the differences as far as the connections. So if you look at this here for the connections for the Mark One MPC Live, and then you look at your connections on your MPC One, all right. You just have to ask yourself, like, okay, well, what do I need? What am I going to need? What's going to be useful, right? One of the other things too, that's going to be a change. Something that the MPC One does not have, that I think is just absolutely like bonkers to me, is the fact that you do not have an internal bay for a hard drive. Okay, MPC Mark One, you know, even the Live 2, you know, the X, SE, and all that, they have internal drive bays. You know, so I've got a 2 terabyte solid state drive inside of mine, and I'm about to, you know, upgrade to a 4 terabyte. You know, and it's like that because when you start getting all the expansions and you start, wanting to get the virtual instruments and stuff like that, you know, that stuff's got to sit somewhere. It's got to sit somewhere, you know. So if you got the Mark One, it's like, where's it going to sit? You know, you want to throw it on these flash drives. Well, you know, you can throw it on a flash drive and everything, but you know, what about when it comes time for you to want to, like, you know, do something, you know, be a little bit more flexible and export, you know, audio files and stuff like that. Okay, well now, you know, I guess you can use your, you know, your one USB port out the back. You know, you could do that. But bottom line is, it's not going to be as fast as a solid state drive, right? Especially when you start wanting to load up your samples and, you know, and all the content that goes along with your virtual instruments. You're going to want that speed. You're going to want that flexibility. Now, some folks will be like, okay, yeah, but it's used. You know, what's the risk and all that? I mean, you're going to have to do some due diligence. But I'm going to tell you, like eBay, if you go on eBay, like I'm looking at this one right now, $549, right? MPC Live looks like it's in great shape. Still got the original box, right? And then look at this down here, 1 year protection plan for $49.99. You know, if I'm spending the $549, I'm gonna go ahead and spend the extra $50 to protect the $549 just in case. That's just me, right? You know, because you're buying it used. You know, you're gonna want to look at the, you know, the seller's rating and everything like that, and see where they're sitting at. Anything below 90%, I wouldn't even mess with them, you know. And even if it's like, you know, like this 93.8, I want to look and see, like, well, how much, you know, activity do they have, you know, because if it's that 93.8 and they've only had, say, like 49, 50 sales, you know. And obviously, you know, it's like if you're dealing with used equipment, you're a used equipment dealer, you know, you're probably going to run into some, you know, into some duds, whatnot. But the question is how, you know, how well do they stand behind it? But that's my spiel on this. You know, like I said before, this video is for those of you who are like, you know, like strapped on a budget and you want to get into the MPC standalone game and everything. Go ahead and get the MPC Live, or even get the Live 2. You know, the Live 2, you know, is still going to be a little bit more, you know. So let's see. Akai MPC Live 2. Oh, I hit 3 by accident. Yeah, okay, so somebody's got one here. It's at $600, but folks are bidding on it. You know what I'm saying? So by the time the bidding is all done, that joint might be $700-800. This one right here, they're talking about $800 or best offer. You know, there's a bunch of people watching it. You know what I mean? You know, you got the retro, you know, for, might as well say a stack, right? A G. And here's another one right here, the MPC Live Mark I, $599. You can buy it now for $599. Looks like it's got the original box and everything, you know. So once again, you know, there it is, that Allstate, you know, protection plan. Get that, you know, get that for protection plan for $499. Let's look at these pictures on the back of this joint here. So this is what I was talking about, you know, as far as your outs right here, you know. So, you know, you got your master outs, and then you got additional outs, auxiliary outs, right? And then over here, you know, this is where, you know, for an input, you can bring in, you know, if you're sampling off of records and stuff like that, you got that option. You know, the other thing too, I forgot to mention too, the MIDI ports, man. So you got 2 MIDI ins and 2 MIDI outs on there. Okay. There's your 2 USB right there. Let's look at the MPC One. Let's see if somebody's got pictures of that joint, the One Plus. I want to see these ports on the back. So here we go, right there. That's what you're looking at. That's all you get. Okay. So you got your main out, you got your input, right? You got your CV gates, you know, and only got a single pair of MIDI ins and outs, and you got a USB. That's it. You know what I mean? So, and they want, looks like for this one here, it's like, shoot, it's going for $599 as well. It's like, man, give me the, go ahead and give me, the MPC Live with more outs, you know what I'm saying? And the opportunity to be able to install a solid state drive into that joint, I mean, it's like, to me, it's like a no brainer. So that's my spiel. You know what I'm saying? I hope this helps somebody, especially if you're trying to make a decision on what to get, for a standalone unit. Me, I'm gonna hold on to my MPC Live. This thing, I'm gonna ride or die this joint. And, I haven't gone out and got the X or the SE, basically because it's the same processor in them joints. The SE, I mean, you're doubling the RAM, going from 2 gigs to 4 gigs. That's cool, but I want to see some more processing power, and I want to see some more internal memory, combined, not just the RAM, but that processor has got to be there because, we're asking these things to do a lot more. So, once Akai comes out with a significant update, to the standalone series, that's when I'm going to be jumping on it. That's when I'm going to be ready. All right. Until then, I'm rocking with my MPC Live. All right. That's it.